My mantra when trying to be sexy but classy is, what would Carrie Bradshaw do?
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like.
Hey there, fashion friends. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. On today's episode, we are talking about styling sexy outfits, yet still keeping it classy, right? Yeah, keeping it classy. Yeah, it's always good to keep it classy. But I still think that you can be sexy. Yeah, I think we owe it to ourselves to be sexy. When I'm speaking to sexy, I don't necessarily mean the obnoxious, sort of in-your-face sort of sexy. I more mean showing off what you have, your favorite features that then in return exude that confidence, and while exuding confidence, exuding sexiness. I think any expert would say that sexy is confidence. So these tips are intended for all body types and all ages. So the tricky thing with sexy is it can quickly go from classy to trashy, for sure. All right, with that, let's get started. Let's get into these tips. All right, so tip number one is half tight, half loose. So this is referring to an outfit. I've spoke to this before where I absolutely love when you balance out a look with tight and loose. And I still stand by it to this day that I think this is one of the sexiest ways of styling an outfit, because you have that balance so you're not going over the top with either side. Now there is a time and a place for going tight, and there's a time and place for going loose or oversized on oversized. So an example of this would be with like the oversized button-up shirts, then tucking that in with a really nice tight pair of jeans. It's so simple. Like, you probably don't even realize that this is a sexy look, but it is so effective as a sexy look, in my opinion. So why I think this is sexy is because when you're doing the tight with the loose, you're ultimately accentuating, as well as that I think it can also kind of, elongate and flatter as well. So the whole appeal of going tight on the bottom and loose on the top is it can ultimately give that illusion that the bottom half is smaller than maybe it is. Okay, so tip number two is going fully tight with an overlayer. Again, what I love about this is that you are ultimately creating some balance, but in a different sort of way. So what you're doing with having a full-on tight look, so maybe it's a pair of bike shorts with a really tight tank top, maybe it's a really tight jumpsuit, maybe it's just like a tight pair of pants with a tight top, whatever the tightness is. Then if you add the overlayer, and usually if it's something a little bit more oversized or a little bit more dramatic in length, you're gonna add a little bit more contrast to the look. But ultimately what it's going to do is it's gonna frame that outfit, kind of balance out the tightness, but just in a different way by framing the look versus accentuating the look, if that makes sense. Okay, tip number three is only one reveal. Ultimately what I mean by this is I think the sort of stereotypical definition that goes with sexy is, being a little bit more revealing, of our feminine features, I guess, is a delicate way to put it. To me, again, this kind of comes down to my kind of minimalist approach that I always speak to is when you're doing too many things at once. So if you're revealing too much at once, there isn't really anywhere for your eye to land. You just don't even know where you should be looking. Whereas if you choose one feature to reveal, it ultimately becomes the showpiece and, in my opinion, becomes even more flattering and offering more sex appeal, if that makes sense. So less is more for sure in this case. So a perfect example would be if you're somebody that is really proud of their cleavage, is choosing to show your cleavage. And again, what that kind of creates is that balance that we're looking for. It always comes back to balance for me, for sure. I know I probably say this and you guys are like sick of hearing the word balance, but it always comes back to that. Maybe it's that you're really proud of that booty. Maybe you're doing those squats, maybe you're doing those lunges, and girl, booty is looking good. I get it. So maybe it's that you wear a really tight pair of jeans. Maybe it's that you're really proud of your legs. Maybe you've got some kicking killer legs and you want to show them off to the world. Fully get it. Yeah, maybe it's that you wear a short skirt. Maybe it's that you wear a short dress. Maybe it's that you wear a short pair of shorts. But then ultimately balancing it out with maybe it's you're wearing a really long duster cardigan. You know I love the contrast of wearing a long duster cardigan with shorts. Love that. Maybe it's that you cover the upper half of your body. Maybe you're wearing like a long sleeve turtleneck dress, but really short, just revealing the legs. So ultimately just choosing one thing to reveal and kind of letting that be the ultimate showpiece. Okay, tip number 4 is the sneaky reveal. So one of my favorite examples of this is somebody that, has some beautiful cleavage that they like to show off. And maybe it's just a really classic V-neck t-shirt, then paired with just like a blazer or a cardigan. And it's sort of that little sneaky reveal. So it's not right there in your face right away. Another one of my absolute favorites, and I used to rock all the time, is the walk away shirt. This is when you wear a shirt that looks completely normal on the front, but on the back, it's revealing your back, your beautiful back. When you see people wearing those, it just exudes that confidence. And to me, the back is one of the most underrated sexy body parts for sure, is the walk away shirt. This is when you wear a shirt that looks completely normal on the front, but on the back, it's revealing your back, your beautiful back. And so it's just like one of those great, I feel like in a way, it's just, when you see people wearing those, it just exudes that confidence. And to me, the back is one of the most underrated sexy body parts for sure. Okay, tip number 5 is, of course, another balanced one, sophisticated with sexy. So I've spoke to this before. I think that the sophisticated style is probably one of the most sexy styles, because I think to rock a sophisticated look, a good sophisticated look, you have to have that confidence. So I've spoke to this example before of the man in the 3-piece tailored fitted suit. This to me is one of the most sexiest looks, because the man that is wearing the tailored fitted 3-piece suit is ultimately a confident man. And he's not necessarily revealing anything too crazy about his body. Obviously flattering in the sense that it's fitted and it is showing the frame of his figure, but ultimately it boils down to having that confidence to rock that look. But you can also go the other angle of, adding just little sneaky, sexy details to a sophisticated look. So again, kind of speaking to the blazer with like a cleavage revealing top. Another example of this is the kind of tailored fitted sheath dress that, again, it's very sophisticated. It is kind of form-fitting and showing off the figure, but then pairing that with a fierce pair of stiletto pumps. Now, again, what brings in that sexiness is the confidence to wear the stiletto pumps. And obviously they are just a fierce, sexy pair of shoes as well. But again, it's just adding in that juxtaposition. It's adding in that contrast and giving you that balance, and ultimately exuding the confidence. Which brings us to tip number 6, heels. Yes, I think that heels are the shoes of the sexy mood for sure. Add a pair of heels and you've got a sexy look. Coming up as a stylist, one of the most go-to looks was a pair of boyfriend jeans with a pair of stiletto heels. And to me, to this day, it is still a classic sexy look. It also, to me, a pair of heels is kind of the height, literally and figuratively, the height of the most feminine pair of shoes, a woman or even a man can wear. For that reason, because it exudes such femininity, it ultimately exudes that sexiness and that confidence. And tip number 7 is go fully tight, but reveal nothing. So this is probably one of my most favorite sexy looks. And I wouldn't say that this is used on an everyday basis. I would say this is more of an occasion sort of look. So to me, one of my most favorite sexy looks is wearing maybe it's a turtleneck dress or a high neck dress that is long sleeve and is skin tight all the way past the knees, is a mid-length dress. And this to me is one of the most sexy looks you can wear because it's sort of that, again, it's showing that confidence because you're confident, showing all those yummy curves, but then you're revealing nothing. So it is in itself balance. It's in itself contrast. So I absolutely love this. And to me, this keeps it real classy because I think if you go tight with revealing, you tip that scale over to trashy real fast. So this is how you ultimately balance out a fully tight fitting look that's showing off all those curves is then revealing nothing. So another example of this would be, I've been seeing this a lot, is the really tight fitting jumpsuits with a higher neck. Maybe it's a crew neck, maybe it's a turtleneck, funnel neck with the long sleeves. So in the end, what I think is happening with all of these tips to have that sexy look, that sexy outfit, but also still keeping it classy, is ultimately keeping the balance, always keeping the balance of that scale and not tipping it too far over onto the sexy side. Because I think real quick, if you do that, there is a time and a place for, maybe adding a little bit more weight to that sexy side for sure. We've all been there. And again, there are some right moments for that. And I think when you have a little bit of mystery, that's what keeps it classy for sure. Mysteriousness is definitely one of the most sexiest things about anybody. All right, you guys, that is it for today. Those are my 7 tips on how to style sexy yet classy outfits. With that, if you did like today's episode, you know what to do. Give me that thumbs up, comment below, share with your friends, and subscribe for future weekly episodes. All of this really, really helps me out to break through that YouTube algorithm. So I really appreciate your help with that. All right, you guys, you have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day. Stay healthy, stay safe, love and support each other, and we will definitely be chatting soon. Bye.